Why are all the bees dying? Hello, this is ChartGPT today. Well, you might think that this is not maybe a non-interesting story here, but what's going on with the bee population? Let's first take a look at a chart about how bees have been doing over the last, say, 10, 20 years. And we can see here that, from about the 1990s to about the year 2000, they've dropped quite a bit in terms of their population. But then from the year 2000 till about, just before COVID, they've been pretty flat in terms of the bee colonies, in terms of their populations. However, more recently here, you can see this in this chart that that in the recent years, the bee populations are gradually declining, even to now the year 2022. Even though we've had some good upticks in colonies added, the overall rate of the bee population is still down fairly dramatically there. And of course, this chart here shows you that in the 2022-2023 season had the second deadliest season on record. So there's a huge decline in bee population, which is quite interesting. Of course, now we've had some of the reasons, and it's because of this Varroa mite, I guess, have infected a lot of these hives, and so the bees have been killing off by bugs. But then on the other hand, some people say, well, why are these bugs all of a sudden coming up? And some people attribute it to pesticides and things that are unnatural in the environment. Take a look at here. There's a chart of where some of the worst cases have been. It's in California, Texas, and Florida. So is there a link between these mites and the natural environment being somehow affected in some way? And that's what some people are trying to figure out. And it's just not just bees. If you take a look at others over the past decade, there's other insects that have been on the decline. So that's quite interesting. It's not just bees. Bees kind of in the middle. Butterflies, beetles, and all this stuff. You think, well, does this make any? Is this any? Okay, so you might say, well, who cares, right? Well, bees, in fact, might be a forerunner of environmental contaminants. These bees are looked at how they look at residential, in production, industrial, and services. They look at their areas, and if they're being polluted in any way with chemicals and other things that allow their natural and unnatural enemies to come after them, it could be signaling that there's something wrong with the natural environment that we have, and that could be affecting humans, because if the bee population is declining, maybe human population is declining. And here's you can see the pesticide use globally, as well as in America, has been on a steady rise since the year 1990. So is there a relationship? Of course, some causation is not necessarily attributed to actual data, so you have to be careful there. But the point is that the pesticides and use of pesticides has been increasing, even though there's some efforts that is trying to stop that. And the number of deaths of air pollution has come down greatly. Of course, air pollution is just one thing, but they have been on the rise again since about the 2012. So those are quite interesting. So the question we asked the AI, what are some of the things that could be causing these bee population to decline? Is what do you think? Do you think there is a relationship between bee population, human population, and the pollution of our environment in some way? Give us your opinion in the polling there. In the description box, you can see the post link to that. Don't forget to subscribe.